right, so the next step, what we have to do is create an actual parallel line off of our mid-span at our A point and our B point. Well, we know what those measurements are, right? We know from A to C for you all is 2 inches, right? So for me, it's 1 foot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, measure over my 1 foot, measure over my 1 foot. Now I'm going to snap a line from that point there too as well, going down to my A. What I do to one side, I do to the other. Like so. So now let's label some of our points. We have point E, F, G, and H. I would suggest you all label your points as the same simply because it makes it easier when I come by and check to make sure that we're all on the same page. All right, so now we got to the point where we now got to start choosing a random number. When it comes to graphing, the higher the number that you choose, the more lines you're going to put on the actual graph. So then what you want to do for you all, I will say maybe just divide by 6. You can divide by any number, but it has to stay a constant. Which means that if you choose a number like 7, you got to always divide by 7 on all the parts I'm getting ready to show you all, okay? All right, so the number that we're going to choose for you all is, let's say 6. We may mess around with the numbers if it ends up being something that's like 15 16ths or something like that. We'll try to divide by a number that gets us relatively easy to an easier number, okay? So let's try 6 and see if it works out. So those of you all, you guys have your calculators out, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to divide from H to D. Find out that number, whatever that number is from H to D. Someone measure and call it out. From H to D. 3 1/4. 3 1/4 divided by 6. What do you end up with? Half inch. So that means start from the center, and what you're going to do is measure out half inch until you get to your H. So you're going to go from your D to your H. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my cell phone, which is my calculator as well. From the top of the page, Greg? Yeah, from the top. So from your H to your D, you're going to divide that by 6, whatever your number was. If it was 3 1/8, 3 1/4, whatever you got, okay? Divide it by 6, and then you're going to measure from the middle. Say if it's a half inch, you're going to measure from the middle and make a mark at a half inch all the way down. Okay. What you do to one side, you will then do to the other side. It should be the exact same number, okay? Now, when I divide it, my number did not divide evenly. This is very common, okay? It all depends on the actual dimensions that you're using, okay? If that is the case, you always want to start from the center and work your way out, okay? Start from the center and work your way out. Now, when I divide it, my number did not divide evenly. This is very common, okay? It all depends on the actual dimensions that you're using, okay? If that is the case, you always want to start from the center and work your way out, okay? Start from the center and work your way out. All right, so the next one we have to now divide evenly. From our E to our A, whatever that dimension is, for you all it should be 1.5 inches. Then you want to divide by the same number, which was what? 6. So you go 1.5 inches and you divide it by 6. The higher the number that you choose, the more accurate your graph will be. But then it will be the more lines you're going to put in, okay? But for us, just for presentation purposes, we just chose a random number 6 because it gets you guys close enough to understand what we're doing, okay? All right, so my number was 10. So I have to divide that by, have to divide this up into 1 5/8 inches. Okay? And so now that I've divided that up evenly, now I have to divide from A to C evenly.